All right, this is the top 5 best class setups in Black Ops 6. I am going to switch it up a little bit just because I have been giving you guys the same classes over and over again, and I've been getting called out on it. I'm not going to lie. So we are going to switch up. We're actually going to start out with the KRIG.
Shout out to U4GM for sponsoring this video, the go-to COD BO6 services website. Right now, they have a gift bundle that's 50% off the official price, so if you need help with tough challenges, their bot lobbies make getting mastery camos or any camos really easy. Plus, they sell cheap COD points, so if you want to give this a try, my code is CHAIN for 5% off.
So the KRIG is going to be the first thing. I'm going to give you guys a gunfighter version and a base version. I'm also going to give a low level version just so you guys can actually do good. So the best thing to put on will be the Kepler Microflex, in my opinion. If you don't want to optic, completely fine. I can give you an alternative. But next, we're going to put on a muzzle. You can either put on compensator or suppressor, depending on how you want to play. If you want the least amount of recoil, you don't care if they know where you are, then compensator is fine, especially if you're playing hardcore. It doesn't matter either. But I like to go suppressor. For the barrel, I would say go gain twist barrel. I think this is the best option overall. Some people would choose not to use a barrel at all, completely fine if you're playing hardcore, for example. I like to have a barrel, whether it's placebo or not. I feel like my bullets actually hit much faster, which, I mean, this is what it's made for. So next, for the underbarrel, we're going to go with the vertical foregrip. And for the magazine, we're going to go extended mag 1. Now, if you don't want a magazine, completely fine. Instead, you can put on quick draw grip or you can put on commando grip. I would suggest quick draw grip. And then if we go into the firing range, you guys are going to see just how good this is. Doesn't take much effort to use. Even at long range, it gets the job done pretty well. Recoil is just a tiny bit, but I mean, it's a pretty amazing weapon. Now for the alternative, if you want a compensator, it would kick even less. Just to show you guys, this is what you would be dealing with a compensator. I mean, it's pretty nice. You get somewhat similar results, but I would say the suppressor is honestly the best choice for me. So now if you're going to go gunfighter, I would suggest putting on extended mag 1. Next, for the stock, you can put on the balanced stock. I think this is honestly the best choice. And then for the fire mods, I would highly recommend recoil springs. There are some people that can handle rapid fire, and all the power to you if you can. I cannot, and I think a lot of people can't either. So recoil springs would be the best option. And if you with the recoil springs, you would see that it's actually basically a whole lot better. You don't even need the compensator. You can just have a silencer with the recoil springs, and this would be the best choice for the KRIG C. This build right here is the ultimate KRIG C. I'm not gonna lie, it's actually pretty solid. But if you don't want to use this, you can switch it up. We can actually use the XM4. The XM4 is pretty easy to build, in my opinion. Similar to the KRIG, you're going to put on a Kepler Microflex. For the muzzle, you can put on either suppressor or compensator. For me, I would put on suppressor. For the barrel, once again, you can put on the gain twist barrel. For the underbarrel, you're going to put on the vertical foregrip. And then for the magazine, you can put extended mag 1. Or once again, you can just put on quick draw grip. Quick draw grip is fine. I'm actually a little bit more mobile with this AR than any other AR, so I would actually say you could actually even put on commando if you wanted to put that on just to get better sprint to fire speed. But as you see, it doesn't really have much recoil as it is. So for the magazine, you put extended mag 1. For the stock, you can put on the balanced stock, or you can put on light stock. Completely up to you, whatever you want to have this weapon for. If you want to strafe like crazy balance, if you want good movement, light, I think balance is actually really good. If you wanted this to be even more of a laser, you could put on the buffer weight stock, but I just don't think it's necessary. That's just my opinion, though. You can put on the buffer weight stock and then put on rapid fire, and this would actually be a pretty insane combination. But if you don't care too much for that, you can just put on the recoil springs, and you'll be good to go. I mean, I think this is actually pretty nice. It genuinely does not move, even with this build right here. So if you want a weapon that basically has no recoil and it's very easy to use, this is the build right here. For the XM4, like I said, takes no effort. You'll absolutely just like pop off. And a lot of these weapons are, I mean, a lot of these attachments are low level attachments aside from the balanced stock. I think you would go with light stock instead. But these are a lot of low level attachments that you can put on right now. Next thing you would put on, go to the SMGs. You would go to the Jackal PDW. The Jackal is incredible. Absolutely love using it. It's a very, very powerful SMG. The amount of times they try to nerf it and still OP, it's just absolutely mind-blowing. So for the optic, I would suggest not using optic, but if you want to, you can once again use a Kepler. For the muzzle, I would suggest going suppressor. I see some people using compensator. I think more of the competitive guys are going to use the compensator. I don't think you need a ported compensator at all. Compensator is good enough. But for the sake of public match, you can put on suppressor. For the barrel, you can put on reinforced barrel. It's the only time I would say something different than gain twist barrel. But if you are playing hardcore, I would suggest using the CHF barrel. It doesn't really matter overall. I mean, whatever you choose in hardcore will still most likely one shot, but with the CHF, it'll do a guaranteed one shot headshot. But reinforced for core. For underbarrel, put on the vertical foregrip. I see a lot of people using Ranger. That's fine too if you want to use that. I just like using the vertical foregrip, but they both benefit you pretty well. A magazine, I like using extended mag. You don't need it, but it's nice to have. And for the rear grip, I would suggest ergonomic grip. If you don't have that, then just use quick draw grip until you get ergonomic grip or commando grip. So this is how it's going to function in the firing range. Very powerful weapon, gets the job done pretty easily. I try not to get in super long range gunfights just because I don't, like me personally, I can't handle it. You see, it just jumps a little too much for me. I would most likely need something along the lines of the compensator, and then I'd probably be able to handle it a little bit better. I'm not sure. I'm just about to test it out right now. So compensator, yeah, that helps a whole lot more. So if you have the compensator, long range gunfights will be a lot easier. But for the stock, it's either no stock or balanced stock. I would say balanced stock will be better. And then for the fire mods, I would say recoil springs. Some people use rapid fire, completely up to you if you want to use rapid fire. But with recoil springs, it does help a little bit. I still think that the kick is a little bit there, but if you're able to manage it, then this is the best build. I don't think you really need a laser. This is one of the few games I actually don't see people using lasers like that. So this is something that you can consider. You just need these amount of attachments. You don't need an optic. You don't need a laser. But if you don't want to use the Jackal, you can use the Saug because it's absolutely busted. I'm going to show you guys the Tanto as well because I absolutely love using that weapon. But I'm going to show you guys the Saug because, like I said, it's just very, very good weapon. So we're going to take these off and we're going to start all over. Do not use an optic. It's not necessary. If you want to use an optic, cool. It's just a waste of an attachment. For the muzzle, I would suggest suppressor or compensator. For the barrel, I would suggest the gain, twist, or reinforce, more so the reinforced barrel. But you probably aren't going to have that right away. So one of these until you get this unlocked. The underbarrel, vertical foregrip. For the magazine, extended mag 1. And for the grip, ergonomic grip. Unless you don't have it, you can put on the assault grip, quick draw grip or commando grip. Ergonomic grip is the move. Going to the firing range is what you're going to be expecting. Very easy to use this weapon, does not take much effort. Super long range is kind of hard to use this gun, but if you want to use it, completely up to you. Light stock or balanced stock, I would say balanced stock is better. And then for the fire mod, I would go recoil springs. I see a lot of people actually using rapid fire, and all the power to you if you want to use rapid fire. I just think that's fast enough, and it kind of makes this a laser at even further distances. So I would suggest using this if you wanted to use this instead. If you want to use rapid fire, be my guest. But finally, I'm going to give you guys the Tanto because the Tanto is actually pretty amazing. So the Tanto is one of those weapons that you can use short, medium, and long range, and I'm going to give you a fantastic build for both of them. I would suggest having an optic, but if you don't want to use an optic, this is the build I would recommend. This is one of the few times I would say don't use a suppressor. Put on compensator. Put on either reinforced or gain twist barrel. For the sake of it, we'll put on reinforced. For the underbarrel, we're going to put on the vertical foregrip. For the magazine, extended mag 1. And the rear grip, we're going to go ergonomic grip. So that's going to be the 5 attachments. This is what you're going to experience. It's pretty nice. As you see, it really doesn't take much effort to actually use this weapon. Now, if you wanted to go gunfighter, first thing I would do is put on the Kepler. For the stock, I would either go no stock or balanced stock. Once again, I choose balanced stock. With fire mod, you can use recoil springs or rapid fire.